I said in a previous video that these job cuts within the gaming industry were only going to get worse, and this is a trend that's going to last for probably the next couple of years or so. And lo and behold, news had emerged about 2 weeks ago that Bandai Namco were making cuts to their staff as well, and that's something that's very surprising, considering the fact that Bandai Namco has released some of the best video games this year so far. And when I'm talking about like top video games from this year, I'm talking about games like Sparking Zero, Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, Tekken 8, those type of games. I feel like those two are among the best fighting games that we got this whole year. Probably the best among the best fighting games we got within the past 4 years, for that matter. And and I don't know, like I feel like this whole thing was is kind of bizarre, especially looking at how the process of laying off people works in Japan, because apparently Japan has strict laws regarding like dismissal, and they have it where employees are moved to expulsion rooms, and I'm not exactly sure how that works or what that whole process is about, but it turns out that like Japan has extremely strict dismissal laws, and I read on PC Gamer that like 200 employees at least had got sent into like the expulsion room, and it made people either just quit because they were afraid they were going to get axed, or just bored them to death to a point where they just resigned or what have you. And um and I don't know. I mean, that kind of sounds like I don't know. It sounds very just odd and weird because it's unlike anything that you've ever seen or heard of in America for the most part. And I know, like, all countries have different laws in regards to, different types of things, whether it be criminal laws, whether it be civil laws, all that other stuff. But I don't know. It doesn't like this whole thing doesn't make Japan's process of laying off employees look any better than how it's done in America or anywhere else for that matter. And you look at Bandai Namco, and you look at like the games and the amount of success they had. Like Tekken 8, I think did like 2 mil within its first week or so. Last time I checked, it did around 3 mil. I'd have to go back and double check, but Mortal Kombat 1, which is something that was created by NetherRealm Studios and produced by Warner Brothers Games, that actually reached 4 mil, and that's something that should have happened like many many months ago, because that game has been out for a year now. And Sparking Zero did like 3 mil within like 48 hours of its release. So yeah, it's like I said that Sparking Zero is something that I expect to do record-breaking sales within a year. But at the same time, it seems like when it comes down to sales and just about everything else in gaming, there's this stagnation that seems to exist to a point where it seems like video games get to a certain point in sales, and then all of a sudden, it doesn't get any higher. It seems like there's a cap um, for every video game that's released in terms of sales. And it seems like 3 mil is like the highest it can go, and you'll be lucky if you can go higher than that. And I'm not exactly sure what that's all about, but at the same time, I feel like Bandai Namco making layoffs is something that's a bit concerning, considering the fact that they're actually doing pretty well. And you look at all the other video games or video game companies that have made cuts, this year or last year. We're talking about video game companies like Ubisoft, Sony, Microsoft. We're talking about BioWare, Electronic Arts. And I think even like GameStop, the video game store, had made layoffs. And I actually read that the other day that GameSpot, the magazine, they had cut some of their staff as well. So the gaming cuts like affect just about everyone, despite what position you hold in gaming, whether you're a developer, whether you're a writer, just about like everyone, despite what position you might be in. And that's something that's very troubling. It makes you wonder if things are actually going to be worse than originally expected, because I've been hearing a lot of rumors that we're supposed to be having this great economic collapse, and maybe this is just these are all just things that's kind of like leading to that. But I hope nothing crazy happens in the future, like us having to all of a sudden like change our currency, from the American dollar to something else. And it seemed like there's been a lot of signs that's pointing to that, because the value of the American dollar is not what it used to be. But at the same time, it seems like the cost of gaming is not getting any cheaper or less expensive or anything like that. And it makes you wonder, like, how is rising costs going to affect um it's going to affect gaming? How is it going to affect customers? How is it going to affect how video game companies do business? And these are all questions that hopefully we'll have answered in due time. But Bandai Namco making layoffs is something that kind of caught me by surprise, because they were one of the few video game companies I thought was doing pretty well for a while. And as far as next year's concerned, I'm not exactly sure if they have like too many high profile video games coming up or anything like that. But yeah, I feel like these cuts, if the rumors and the news regarding this is true, I'm hoping that these cuts are for the best, and I hope that Bandai Namco can keep their momentum going in terms of producing high profile video games and keeping their customers happy in the process.